Hey guys, welcome back to Enlightened Turtle. It's your host Kev here. Today we're going to be looking at the mysterious two-headed mummy of Patagonia. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. I'm following your lead, I'm following the spirit.
Now there isn't a shortage of ancient texts and general evidence really to support the idea of giants that once lived on the earth. And to be honest, you've probably never heard of this story. It's quite new to me. But let's get right into it. So let's meet Cap Dwar, a two-headed 3.5 meter tall giant from, as I say, Patagonia. The creature's legend begins in 1673, where the giant of over 12 feet with two heads was captured by Spanish sailors and brought aboard their ship. The Spaniards lashed him to the main mast, but he broke free and during the ensuing battle suffered a fatal injury. They pierced his heart with a spear until his death, but before that the giant had already claimed 4 Spanish sailors' lives. Then what happened to Cap Dwar isn't exactly clear, but his naturally mummified body was said to have been on display in various places and sideshows. In the year 1900, the mummy Cap Dwar entered Edwardian horror circuit and over the years passed from showman to showman, eventually ending up in Weston's Burnbeck Pier in 1914. After spending the next 45 years on display in North Somerset in England, old Cap Dwar was purchased by one Lord Thomas Howard in 1959, and following a few more handoffs, we might say, he ultimately ended up in Baltimore, MD, of all places. He now rests in a bizarre collection of oddities that is Bob's Sideshow at the Antique Man Limited in Baltimore. Owned by Robert Gerber and his wife, the mummified remains of Cap Dwar, that's Kapdwa, are believed to be a fabricated hoax. The Patagonese, or Patagonian giants, were a race of giant humans rumoured to be living in Patagonia and described in early European accounts. They were said to have exceeded at least double normal human height, with accounts giving height of up to 12 to 15 feet, which is 3.7 to 4.6 meters or more. Tales of these people would take hold over European concepts of the region for some 250 years. The first mention of these people came from the voyage of a Portuguese sailor, Ferdinand Magellan, who was well known, and his crew, who claimed to have seen them while exploring the coastline of South America en route to Maluku Island in their circumnavigation of the world in the 1520s. Antonio Pigafetta, one of the expedition's few survivors and the chronicler of Magellan's expedition, wrote in his account about their encounter with natives twice the size of a normal human person. One day we suddenly saw a naked man of giant stature on the shore of the port, dancing, singing and throwing dust on his head. The Captain General, i.e. Magellan, sent one of our men to the giant so that he might perform the same actions as a sign of peace. Having done that, the man led the giant to an inlet where the Captain General was waiting. When the giant was in the Captain General's and our presence, he marvelled greatly and made signs with one finger raised upwards, believing that we had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only his waist, and he was well proportioned. Later, Sebald de Weert, a Dutch captain associated with the exploration of the coasts of America and the Falkland Islands of South Argentina in the 1600s, and his several crew claimed to have seen members of a race of giants while they were there. De Weert described a particular incident when he was with his men in a boat rowing to an island in the Magellan Strait. The Dutch claim to have seen 7 odd-looking boats approaching, which were full of naked giants. These giants supposedly had long hair and reddish-brown skin and were aggressive towards the crew. Cap de War has both supporters and detractors. There are the taxidermy truthers, and there are the people who believe this to be a real body. On the real side, several sources report no obvious evidence of taxidermy, while one source claims that Johns Hopkins University students did an MRI scan on the body of Cap de War. According to an article in 14 Times, Frank Ade remembers seeing it in Blackpool around 1960. There were no signs of sutures or other joints, even though the body was largely unclothed in the 1930s. 2 doctors and a radiologist reportedly inspected it in Weston and found no perceptual evidence of it being a fake. However, the conflicting origin stories and the status of Cap de War as a sideshow attraction of course immediately damaged its credibility in some points. If we believe it really is a giant mummy, then it should be displayed in a reputed museum and should be better analysed by today's mainstream scientists. It seems the Cap de War DNA analysis has not yet been conducted, so as long as these tests are not being done, the mummy of Cap de War completely remains an unsolved mystery, but potentially could still be a real mummy. So there we go, guys, that's the mummy of Cap de War. Let me know what you guys think. Was Cap de War a real red-skinned mummy? Thanks for stopping by. Peace.
I'm following your lead, I'm following this feeling. I'm conquering this feeling.